the conscience of, as like he was saying with sparring, we understand that it's not the other person that's standing in front of you that's the battle, it's the man that's getting angry from how the other man hit you in the sparring session. That is the battle. And then the dojo allows you to be able to work through that, because you cannot get mad at the other man, because the Sifu will not allow you to get mad at the other man. If so, then the next black belt will beat you down and will show you that you cannot, the only way you can gain control of self is to realize that you gotta let go of self and learn to control your emotions from the inside out, because the real enemy is yourself. The third one, take charge of your post, your body language and your attitude. Make sure everything is expressed with confidence, yet in a humble, positive manner. We're gonna go to the Wushudo guide. Everybody got it? The universal principles of Wushudo. The first three principles are the most important. Honesty. The only person that matters being honest with is you. Going back to sparring, I hit you. It was something that you did that allowed him to hit you. So be honest and accept the fact. I had my hand down. Don't get mad with him and try to kill him. Figure out, okay, give him a dap, walk to the side, and then go home and figure out how to make sure that don't happen again. As Bruce Lee said, until one can honestly express themselves, they will never know the truth. I go back again. If you eliminate honesty in society, you got animalistic behavior. See, but it starts with honesty with self. Really, it started with me. It didn't start with them. It started with me. Honestly, saying, look, I messed up. I was stealing, I was lying, I was using drugs. Am I going to do that again? I'm talking to me. And then once I began to be honest with me, I didn't have to be honest with everybody else, because my actions and my behavior represented honesty. You can sense it when somebody come around you and they honest. That's why it's so important when you're talking to a kid, you got to look at them in the eyes, because honesty comes through the eyes. That's why when people come home from jail, the drug dealer like, man, he got the glow, baby, what's up, man? What he's trying to do is rob you of that glow. That's why he give you the first hit. He give you the first package. Because this guy was the greatest, one of the best basketball players of all times. And he was so lost from using drugs. But when he came home and he stood in front of that drug dealer and said, I don't want this. If you can give it to me in money, something like that. But he wanted to build up the community. He didn't want drugs anymore. The drug dealer continued to challenge his spirit to see if he really wanted. And once, this is what we miss. Once that drug dealer seen that he didn't want to get high anymore and he really wanted to build up that community, the drug dealer said, leave him alone. That's how wars are won. I don't care what nobody say. In the heart of a warrior, if a man goes to cut your throat and you have no weapon and you say, do what you want to do, kill me now, because I'm going to go out, I'm not going to abandon my principles, cut my throat. Most times, they'll say, let him live. Let him go. Because if you are a weak warrior trying to kill a strong warrior, you are intimidated that a man is still willing, or woman, to let their life go. Now that's godly. That's what the Bible talks about. Because when we lose sight of that sort of honesty, that sort of openness, and that sort of faith, then there's nothing else. It goes back to the state of our society. It goes back to the Bible. When we have no principles, we are animals. That's why it's important when people walk through the doors, if you teach them all those kicks, you just teach them a pit bull, you teach a pit bull how to bite. Master Jim Reed say that. The difference, and in the Bible, read it. We are, if you do not use your free will according to the dog. The difference between us and the animal is that we got free will to choose to be an animal or not to be an animal. The one thing that keeps us in alignment, and anybody that's lost, is principles. The glow comes from those who maintain posts. They don't break the spirit. That's what we're striving for. That's what we got. That's what we got to get our kids to do. That's what martial arts is all about. That's what Heel Al Cho was talking about. Once you understand that and you become that confident, can't nobody break your spirit, because the only one that can break your spirit is you. And if 18 are children, and they said 8 are adults. This has been going on a lot for years and years in environments where we just never paid attention to it. Now it's infiltrating a place where people who got from the hood wanted to come to so they can raise their families. Now we got them coming into our into our communities and places that we least expect. These were 18 children, babies. And I asked, it's like you ask yourself a question, what did it inspire you to do a little earlier today and a little extra today? Because if you got up and you're still doing it the same way you did it yesterday, then it really didn't make an impact on you. What did it do to make you change? What did it do to, maybe it's the universe trying to tell you, remember, we should always complete was develop to develop balanced human beings. We're in an imbalanced society. Remember, you can't be an extremist. You got to be a balanced person, mind, body, and spirit. When one of them are off, or something is off, and when you begin to live, that's why the creed says, I will respect the laws of mankind, but live by the laws of the universal creator. But when we begin to live by the laws of mankind and respect and try to remember the laws of the universal creator like we have right now, you cannot, and we all learned that, we didn't see in the commercials, do not mess with Mother Nature. When you begin to mess with it, it begins to rumble and things begin to be off balance. It's just a natural course. We got to ask ourselves, do we get the message? What happens in our lives to make us like get up and just, man, this ain't going to happen no more. When I seen it, all I realized is why that was important. That's why I created all that. So I ask if you as a leader and as a community, whenever we neglect of sharing that with someone else, the solutions are that. It's not because it came from me, and I think that's what everybody missed. It's because somebody gave it to me and saved my life, and it's my journey to turn it over and give it to somebody else. And it's your duty to turn it over and give it to somebody else. The Street Combat Program talks about the predator, the one that's sitting right there at your coffee table, that's sitting there, and at 1 second, he will decide to steal your piggy bank and break in it and will kill you if you stop from trying to take the money out of it. The predator is the one who you say, stop, you ain't supposed to do that, and he takes and smacks the living daylights out of you and knocks you down on the ground, and he comes back and he sees you got a big black eye, and you holler, oh my God, Tini, I didn't realize I did that. I will never get high again if I'm doing it to my sister. That's why this is so real. I think we get so caught up in the the money or whatever, or you engage in conversation with people and they be talking about, yeah, you're right. We should do it this way. But yours is based on theory. Mine is based on. And the courageous thing is in the midst of someone about ready to pull the trigger, and they say, sign the paper now. Sign the paper right now to say that you support what I'm doing. If not, I'm going to blow your brains out. Brother D always said if they going to come like that, what are you going to do? Are you going to sign the paper, or are you going to die holding true to what your belief is? Because you know, if you take that stand, it will begin to bring about a vibration in the earth that'll make other people take a stand. But then when you don't take a stand and everybody else don't take a stand, then you have a mixed up, harmonious, you understand the truth and you understand the martial arts, you know I ain't making it up. It's the natural course of what's going on, but what is different when we walk in this dojo? That's why it's so important for us to remember that we're not teaching the kicks and the punches. That's why when you have a project, and I know, and you think I'm promoting writing a book, if I give you something like a combat apathy, now you realize why it's so important to complete it and see it all the way to the end. As Brother Byron said, if you could just save one person, you done heard this all your life, and you're older than all of us. They always said if you can get one, the vibration of that one will send one to another, and before you know it, you can change the whole community. Am I right, Mr. Glover?
Sir, exactly right.
But when you abandon your responsibility to save that one, because of what's going on in your life, then you see what's happening right here, and you say, I want to help. But you already lost, you already gave up the obligation. It was put in your hand. Anything that's put to change another person is not a man-made thing, it's a spiritual thing. And even when I read the Man of Conscience, what did it come back to? Inside job. Martial arts is the most powerful thing on this planet. It can stop wars. When I went to the gym one day this week and it was like a hard day, I was telling the guy, I said, man, it was a battle today. He said, but the battle's supposed to start in the house, inside yourself. What you talking about? The battle was already won before you went into war, so I ain't getting what you're saying, my brother. And he made me remind, yeah, the battle is inside of me. Did I let being dishonest defeat me today? Did I let being closed-minded defeat me today? That when that man was talking to me, and I remember it clear as day with Brother D, when he said, sit down, shut up, because what you saying don't matter, because if it did, you wouldn't be in jail. So sit down, shut up, listen, and be honest. And when I'm talking to you, don't think about what you're going to say while I'm talking, because you done already missed the blessing. How many of us doing those things? It's all in them books. I didn't write them for you. I wrote them so I wouldn't get lost, so when I was out my ready to stumble into darkness again, I could read what Brother D or somebody showed me so I can get back on track. The same thing of what's happening around us every day. For everything that we see today, you can go to any inner city and probably nobody even reported it. You can call my dad and he said, oh man, that's sad. Police got died, 2 kids just died, his mom just died. So what are we really doing to carry on this message? What are we doing with inside ourselves? Inspiration for Generation Next. You can't say that we don't have the truth, because James is a prime example of the truth. Stop for a minute, and the reading today was like learning to appreciate the moment. It said living in the now. Because sometimes we say we need something over here, when yet God already gave us everything that we need right here. But we're so busy worrying about something else over here, a bigger house, a bigger car, a bigger this, when he gave you what you need. Because if you stop for a minute to think about it, at one time, fool, you didn't even have a license. So now you got a car. So he gave you more than what you had before. So what are you complaining about? Look, James was a kid who got in trouble recently with his sister, with his mom, and all these bad things about ready to happen. We brought Mr. James in here, and we beat him down and showed him the consequences of what life's going to do to him when he decides to make a bad choice. Then every last one of y'all see that boy coming in, you can feel his energy. You can feel his humility. You can feel how he done changed. You can see the power of the martial arts when you honestly show, and he know that beat down is what your generation showed my generation in honest love. If you don't listen up, I'm going to bust you up. Now look at it. It shows that it still works. He can feel our love. And I know that sounds crazy from the way you punched him. From the way you hit him, he knew that it was all out of sense of love. We have to hold true to those core principles of what martial arts is all about. We need to take a minute. It's like they say, take a prayer, have a prayer. Think about those are babies. They even got a chance to live their lives because some person couldn't get out there and fight it up and go through the emotions of being defeated and come back the next day and say, let's go on, because you beat me yesterday, I'm going to try it today, let's go. And some leader sanctioned that bull, because that's what Brother D taught me, and Miss Nancy taught me. Brother D said, look, I ain't sanctioning your bull. It ain't right. So until you're going to make it right, don't come around me no more. And what the prayer said, God grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change. If a person does not want to change, if you can sit there and teach a person all day, and I think we got to get to that point, if the person honestly say, I don't want to do it, then think about it. Every adult that comes in doing kickboxing, that just don't want to kick with their heart, sometimes you got to let them go. They're adults. You don't want to do it, you ain't going to do it. Go to the side. Shorty, you want to do it? Because that's what happens to the younger generation. But if you let that adult do it, then I guess I really don't have to do it. When Messiah got up this morning, he didn't want to go to the gym. He was minding me. He didn't want to go. Messiah, you said you want this. I don't want to go. I let it go for a minute. Miss Kimber let it go. But then we just got pissed off. You going to do it. Guess what? He did it. It was a struggle. He got to the gym, and he realizes once again who we deal with in every aspect of our lives and do it for the sake of the next generation, that's what's going to change. This is not about the kicks and the punches, people. As Bruce Lee said, it's not about the finger pointing to the moon. It's about everything. Everything that we do is a reflection. As good as your cardio that you do is not so much for you to win the fight. Your cardio is to be able to be strong enough to be an example for somebody else. And I ain't picking on you. So in the wake of all what goes on, did we come in a little early? Are we going to stay a little later? Or are we going to do a little extra?